London streets had always been a symphony to Emma's senses. The clatter of footsteps, the faint aroma of freshly baked bread from corner bakeries, and the soft hum of distant conversations created a rhythm that comforted her. But tonight, the city felt different, alive in a way that made her pulse quicken. Emma clutched her notebook close, the pages fluttering as if trying to escape her thoughts, which were tangled in dreams she wasn't sure she could reach. Turning into a quiet cobblestone street, she didn't see the man coming from the opposite direction. Papers flew like startled birds, coffee nearly splashing onto her coat, and for a heart-stopping moment, she froze. Then she looked up, meeting a pair of warm hazel eyes that seemed to pause the very world around them. "I'm so sorry," Emma exclaimed, bending down to gather the scattered notes. Her fingers brushed against his as they both reached for the same sheet, and a strange electricity sparked between them. "No, it's my fault," he said, offering her a pen she had dropped. His voice was calm, steady, carrying a warmth that made Emma's cheeks flush. "I should have watched where I was going." Emma looked at him, feeling an odd sense of familiarity she couldn't explain. "I'm Emma," she said, shaking his hand after he introduced himself as Alex. They laughed at the awkwardness, and in that laughter was a subtle acknowledgement of a connection neither could yet name. Emma felt a flutter in her chest, a mix of curiosity, attraction, and something deeper she hadn't allowed herself to feel in years. Over the next few weeks, fate seemed to conspire in their favor. Emma found herself at the same cafes Alex frequented. Sometimes she arrived early, sometimes late, but always with a heart full of anticipation. Each encounter was a dance, small smiles, casual questions, stolen glances, and long, lingering conversations about life, art, and music. Alex was a painter, and Emma soon learned that his artwork was an extension of his soul. He painted streets she had walked countless times, capturing light and shadow in a way that made her see the city differently. And Emma, a writer, shared her words with him, poems, short stories, and snippets of her journal, each one opening a window into her heart. One rainy afternoon, Alex invited her to his studio. The soft patter of rain against the tall windows set the scene, and the smell of oil paints mingled with the scent of wet earth. On an easel was a painting of the street where they first met, bathed in golden sunset light. Emma's breath caught. "This is beautiful," she whispered. She reached out, her fingers hovering above the canvas, feeling the emotion embedded in every brushstroke. "It's the moment I met you," Alex said, taking her hand gently. "The moment everything changed." Emma felt warmth spread through her. Her heart seemed to recognize a rhythm it had been waiting for. Without thinking, she leaned closer, and their first kiss was soft, hesitant, yet full of unspoken promises. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. Their love blossomed in small moments, the laughter over shared secrets, the warmth of holding hands on chilly evenings, and the comfort of simply being in each other's presence. London, once a city of solitude for Emma, became a landscape of memories with Alex in every corner. One evening, they walked along the River Thames. Street lamps reflected in the water, creating ribbons of light that danced with the ripples. Alex stopped suddenly and pulled Emma close. "Do you ever think about the future?" he asked softly. Emma smiled, resting her head on his shoulder. "All the time, but I never imagined it could be like this." He looked into her eyes, and in that moment, she saw the depth of his feelings mirrored in her own. Their hands intertwined, fingers laced tightly, as if holding onto a piece of eternity. The seasons changed, bringing with them new adventures, quiet nights, and shared dreams. Emma discovered that love was not just about grand gestures, but about presence, the silent understanding, the shared laughter, and even the gentle arguments that ended in apologies and embraces. Then came the night that would change everything. Standing atop the London Eye, the city stretched beneath them like a canvas of twinkling lights. Alex turned to Emma, his hands trembling slightly as he revealed a small velvet box. "Emma," he began, voice unsteady but full of emotion, "from the moment I met you, my life has been brighter, fuller, happier. Will you marry me?" Tears welled up in her eyes, and all she could do was nod, her heart racing with a mixture of joy, relief, and love. Yes, Alex. Yes, 1,000 times yes. They embraced, the world around them dissolving into the moment. Two hearts had found their home in each other, ready to face the future together. And as the city lights shimmered below and the stars shone above, Emma and Alex promised to write the rest of their story together, page by page, with love as their guide. The morning sunlight streamed softly through the tall windows of Emma's apartment, painting golden patterns on the wooden floor. She sat cross-legged on the couch, a cup of steaming tea in her hands and a notebook resting on her lap. Her mind, however, wasn't on her writing. It was on Alex. The way he had smiled yesterday, the warmth of his hand in hers, and the quiet way he seemed to understand everything about her without needing words. For weeks now, their connection had grown stronger, deeper, and Emma found herself constantly reflecting on the small moments they shared, the soft laughter, the shared glances across a crowded room, the silent understanding that passed between them in quiet spaces. Her phone buzzed. A message from Alex. Asterisk, meet me at our cafe in 30 minutes. I have something to tell you. Asterisk. Emma's heart skipped. Something to tell her? Excitement mingled with a touch of nervousness as she hurried to get ready, choosing a simple dress that made her feel both confident and at ease. The cafe smelled of fresh coffee and pastries, the familiar hum of chatter around them soothing. Alex was already there, sitting at their favorite corner table, sketchbook open in front of him. When he looked up, his hazel eyes caught hers, and for a moment, Emma felt the world narrow down to just the two of them. "Good morning," he said, his voice softer than usual, tinged with something unspoken. "Morning," she replied, sliding into the seat across from him. They ordered coffee, but neither seemed interested in the drink. The air between them was filled with anticipation, unspoken words hanging like delicate threads. Finally, Alex closed his sketchbook, took a deep breath, and looked directly at her. "Emma, I've been meaning to tell you something," he began, his fingers nervously tracing the rim of his cup. "Ever since we met, I've felt something I can't quite describe, but it's real. Stronger than I ever expected." Emma's heart fluttered. She had sensed his feelings, but hearing him speak them aloud made her chest ache with a mixture of joy and fear. I feel the same, Alex," she confessed, her voice barely above a whisper. "I never imagined I could feel this way about anyone, but you've changed everything." A smile broke across Alex's face, relief and happiness shining in his eyes. He reached across the table, taking her hands in his. "Emma, I don't want to imagine a day without you. I want to be with you, through everything, the laughter, the struggles, the quiet moments, and the chaos. I want to share my life with you." Tears pricked at Emma's eyes, but they were tears of happiness. She squeezed his hands gently. "And I want the same, Alex. More than anything, I want us." For a moment, they simply sat there, hands entwined, hearts beating in a rhythm only they could feel. The cafe bustled around them, but inside their bubble, time seemed to stand still. Later that day, they walked through Hyde Park, leaves crunching beneath their feet and the crisp autumn air filling their lungs. The world seemed painted in shades of gold and amber, each tree a witness to their growing bond. "Do you ever wonder if moments like these are meant to be?" Emma asked softly, glancing at him. "All the time," Alex replied, his thumb brushing over hers. "I believe some meetings are destined, and ours feels like that. Like the universe nudged us together at exactly the right time." Emma leaned her head on his shoulder as they strolled, comforted by the warmth of his presence. It was in these simple, shared moments that love revealed itself, not in grand gestures, but in quiet understanding, trust, and connection. As evening fell, they reached the bridge overlooking the Thames. Lights reflected on the water, creating a scene so beautiful it took Emma's breath away. Alex paused, turning to face her. "Emma," he whispered, "I don't just love you. I admire you. I'm inspired by you. Being with you makes me want to be the best version of myself." Emma's eyes shimmered with emotion. "And you inspire me too, Alex." Every day. You make life brighter, more vivid. You've touched parts of me I didn't even know existed. The wind carried their laughter softly across the river, mingling with the gentle ripples of the water below. In that moment, neither wanted to let go. They shared a tender kiss, the kind that spoke of promises, trust, and a love that was only beginning to unfold. Walking back hand in hand, hearts full, they knew that life ahead would not always be easy, but it would be shared. Every challenge, every joy, every quiet evening together would be theirs to cherish. And as the city lights shimmered around them, Emma realized that she had found her home. Not a place, but a person. And that person was Alex. The city of London had taken on a softer hue that spring. The air smelled faintly of blooming flowers, rain-soaked pavements, and freshly brewed coffee from street-side cafes. Emma woke to the faint chirping of birds outside her window, sunlight spilling across the curtains, and the thought of Alex filled her mind instantly. It had been weeks since their confession by the cafe and their stroll through Hyde Park. Every moment since then had been a delicate dance of emotions, small gestures, and deepening intimacy. Emma cherished the mornings when she could share her thoughts in long messages with Alex before he started his day, and the evenings when he would surprise her at the doorstep with a cup of coffee or a sketch he had been working on. That particular morning, Emma dressed quickly in a light spring dress, her heart fluttering with anticipation. Today was special, not because of any particular event, but because Alex had called the night before and asked her to meet him at their favorite riverside spot. His messages had carried a tone of excitement she couldn't decipher, and her curiosity mingled with a delicious sense of nervousness. As Emma walked along the cobblestone streets, she noticed the soft glow of the sun reflecting off the Thames. The river shimmered like a silver ribbon, and she imagined Alex waiting, his hazel eyes scanning the horizon, until they found her. And there he was, leaning casually against the railing, sketchbook in hand, a small smile playing at his lips when he spotted her. "Good morning, Emma," he called softly, waving her over. "Good morning," she replied, a little breathless from walking quickly, not from exertion, but from anticipation. They walked side by side along the riverbank, the sounds of water lapping against the edge mingling with the distant hum of the city. Alex stopped suddenly, turning to face her, sketchbook now closed and tucked under his arm. "I wanted to show you something," he said, his tone slightly hesitant. "Something I've been working on." He handed her the sketchbook. Emma's eyes widened as she flipped through the pages, each one a detailed sketch of places they had visited together. The small cafe, the cobblestone streets where they had first bumped into each other, Hyde Park with its autumn leaves, and even her favorite little bookstore tucked away in a quiet lane. "Alex, these are incredible," she whispered, her fingers brushing lightly over the pencil strokes. "You remembered all of this, us." "I did," he said softly, his thumb brushing over hers. "Every detail, every moment we've shared, it's all part of the story. Our story." Emma felt a lump in her throat, a rush of emotion she couldn't contain. She reached up, placing her hands gently on his shoulders. "You make me feel cherished. Seen. Loved. In ways I never thought possible." Alex leaned down, resting his forehead lightly against hers. "And you, Emma, make my world brighter. You've changed the way I see life, the way I feel. Everything is more vibrant with you in it." As the day progressed, they wandered through the streets of London, stopping at little markets, tasting street foods, and laughing at small jokes only they understood. Emma noticed the way Alex watched her, as if she were the most fascinating part of the city itself, and her heart swelled with an affection she could barely put into words. By afternoon, they found themselves in a quiet garden secluded from the bustling streets. Blossoms of every color surrounded them, petals falling softly in the gentle breeze. They sat on a bench, shoulders touching, hands intertwined, and simply watched the world go by. "Do you ever think about the future, Emma?" Alex asked, his gaze distant for a moment. Emma leaned her head on his shoulder. "All the time," she admitted. "But I've realized it's not just about what the future holds. It's about who I want to share it with. And I know, without a doubt, that it's with you." Alex smiled, his hand tracing small circles on hers. "I want to build something with you, Emma. Not just memories, but a life together, filled with laughter, challenges, adventures, quiet nights, and every emotion in between. I want to face it all with you." Emma's eyes shimmered, tears threatening to fall. "And I want the same, Alex. Everything with you." Evening approached, and the city transformed into a mosaic of glowing lights. They walked along the riverside, the reflections of bridges, street lamps, and passing boats shimmering in the water. The air was filled with the scent of blooming jasmine and the faint aroma of fresh rain. They stopped on a small footbridge, overlooking the Thames. The world seemed to fade around them, leaving only the soft sound of water, the distant laughter of passers-by, and the shared heartbeat between the two of them. Alex turned to face Emma, taking both her hands in his. "Emma, I've been thinking we've shared so much already, and yet I feel like this is only the beginning. Every day with you feels like a story unfolding, and I want to keep writing it together. Will you promise me we'll always be honest with each other? That no matter what life throws at us, we face it together?" Emma nodded, her own eyes glistening with emotion. "I promise, Alex. Always." He pulled her close, resting his forehead against hers once again. "I love you, Emma. More than words can ever truly capture." "I love you too, Alex," she whispered, pressing her lips to his in a kiss that carried the weight of their promises, the depth of their emotions, and the beauty of love unfolding naturally, patiently, perfectly. As they walked back through the streets, hand in hand, they felt the world around them as part of their story, a city of lights, sounds, and memories, but more importantly, a city that had brought them together. And with each step, they knew that whatever awaited them in life, they would face it as one, hearts intertwined, moments between heartbeats carrying a lifetime of love. London had never looked more enchanting than it did that evening. The city lights twinkled like a million tiny stars, reflecting off the gentle ripples of the Thames. Emma and Alex walked hand in hand, their breaths forming small clouds in the crisp night air, hearts beating in sync. The past months had been a journey of discovery, of love, trust, and shared dreams, and tonight, everything felt like it was leading to this perfect moment. They reached their favorite riverside spot, a quiet stretch away from the usual bustle, where the soft hum of the city mingled with the gentle lapping of the water. Lanterns hanging along the path cast a golden glow, and the scent of jasmine and wet earth filled the air. Alex paused, turning to face Emma, his eyes reflecting the city lights and the depth of his feelings. "Emma," he said softly, his voice carrying a weight of emotion, "these past months with you have been the most incredible moments of my life. Every laugh, every conversation, every silent glance has made me realize something important." Emma's eyes glistened, sensing the seriousness in his tone, a mixture of excitement and nervous anticipation. "Alex," she whispered, her voice trembling slightly. He took a deep breath, dropping to one knee. A small velvet box appeared in his hand, and the lantern light caught the sparkle of a ring inside. "Emma, from the moment I met you, my life has been brighter, fuller, happier. You are my inspiration, my joy, my heart. I want to spend every day with you, facing life together, cherishing every moment. Will you marry me?" Tears filled Emma's eyes as she knelt beside him, her hands covering her mouth in shock and overwhelming emotion. The world seemed to hold its breath, waiting for her answer. Her heart raced, memories of their first meeting, long walks, shared laughter, and quiet moments together flooding her mind. "Yes, Alex," she finally whispered, her voice breaking with happiness. "Yes, 1,000 times yes." Alex slid the ring onto her finger, his own eyes misty with emotion. They embraced, holding each other tightly, as if never wanting to let go. The city around them seemed to celebrate silently, the lights twinkling brighter, the air warmer, the night more magical. They spent the evening walking along the Thames, hands intertwined, sharing dreams of their future. Emma spoke of a small cottage with a garden, mornings filled with sunlight and tea, evenings with laughter and music. Alex shared his vision of painting their life together, capturing memories in colors and strokes that would last forever. "It's amazing," Alex said, smiling down at her. "All of our little moments, they've built something incredible. And now we get to continue building it together." Emma rested her head on his shoulder, feeling the steady beat of his heart. "It feels like a dream," she said softly, "but it's real. And it's us." Alex kissed the top of her head, holding her close. "Always us," he murmured. "No matter what comes, we face it together." Over the next few weeks, their lives intertwined even more deeply. They explored new corners of London, created small traditions, and reveled in the simplicity of being together. Each day brought a new layer of love, a deeper understanding, and a stronger bond. Emma often found herself staring at Alex, marveling at how someone could make life feel so vibrant, so meaningful. One rainy afternoon, they sat by the window of their favorite cafe, watching the droplets race down the glass. Alex reached across the table, holding her hands. "Emma, I know life isn't always perfect," he said gently, "but with you, it feels like it can be. And I want to keep making it beautiful, every day, for the rest of our lives." Emma smiled through her tears. "And I want that too, Alex. I want every day with you. The good, the bad, and the ordinary moments in between. I want it all, because it's with you." They kissed, soft and lingering, a promise sealed not just in words, but in every beat of their hearts. The city outside continued its quiet hum, but inside their little bubble, the world had narrowed down to two souls, intertwined and unbreakable. The night of their engagement party arrived, held in a cozy hall adorned with fairy lights and flowers. Friends and family gathered, celebrating the love story that had become impossible to ignore. Emma and Alex moved through the crowd, smiles wide, hearts full, sharing laughter and joy with everyone around them. As the night wore on, they slipped away to a quiet balcony overlooking the city. The cool night air and the soft glow of lanterns created an intimate atmosphere. Alex pulled Emma close, whispering, "This is just the beginning, Emma. A lifetime of beginnings, and I can't wait to share them all with you." Emma rested her head against his chest, feeling the steady rhythm of his heartbeat. "And I can't wait either, Alex. Every single moment with you." The city stretched out below them, a tapestry of lights and life, but all that mattered was the warmth between them, the love they had nurtured, and the promise of forever. In that quiet, perfect moment, they knew that no matter what challenges awaited them, they would face them together, hand in hand, heart to heart, ready to write the rest of their story. And as the stars shimmered above, Emma and Alex embraced, two hearts that had found home in each other, ready for the journey ahead, a journey filled with love, hope, laughter, and the unwavering promise of always